Hey everybody, happy Saturday to you. Gonna be doing Hawk from Hawk and Dove from DC Comics. I'm gonna be drawing the original brothers here, one today, one tomorrow, and gonna get right into this thing. Now, this character was evolved. He was originally part of a two brother team and was evolved into the madman that everybody knows now by Rob Liefeld when he worked on the book. And I'm not sure who the writer was, but I know Rob was the artist at the time. That they revamped it, and Hawk was always the violent one. And if you were to ever put in a character that stuck out like Wolverine from the X-Men in comparison, this is the dude. And everybody says, "Well, that's Lobo." No, it's not. This guy has anger issues like no other person that I've seen in the DC universe, and I act like, talking like it's real. But the thing is, this character has such a rage issue in his personality. It's almost unmatched. Um, and I mean that literally. No one else in comics comes close with the rage going on that Hawk does. This dude is just off his rocker, and that's what made him so popular, is because of the fact that he pulled no punches whatsoever. He didn't care if he had to use a gun. He didn't care if he had to use explosives. He didn't care if he had to use somebody else as a victim. He called it collateral damage and moved on. He really does not care. He just wants to get crime stopped, period. And I've never seen another character written to do that except Wolverine, and even he has that ethic, where he stops. It's a line he won't cross, where innocent blood's spilled, at least on purpose. And DC went overboard with writing this guy to where he is hardcore violent, and I just really dig that that they went that route and allowed Rob and the other guys that have followed suit to get this guy out there in that level. Everybody, like I said, everybody wants to compliment on the style of Lobo or another character like that, and give him credit for that kind of thing. But this dude right here is dang near unstoppable. I say dang so that I don't swear for the youngsters that I do know follow me, so bear with me. But anyway, yeah, it's just one of those things where this guy is totally off his rocker and all about killing whoever, stopping whoever, beating the crap out of whoever, and that's where he's at. Where his brother was a lot more calm and collected as Dove, and kept him balanced and would rein him in whenever he would go nuts. And I remember reading those comics and loving these characters because of the contrast alone. I mean, we don't have a calm and collected Cyclops type of character, reining Wolverine in. We have totally lost, almost a monk type personality in Dove, because he would go off and because he's a martial artist for one, he would go off and just back up completely on what was going on and assess the situation and say, hey, we can't do this. We've got boundaries. And then you would see just Hawk, before everybody's even thought about it. Hawk's already gone and probably killed someone, if not beat them down to a pulp already. So there was definitely a contrast with these guys. And I'm drawing the original brothers, by the way. I'm not drawing the Hawk and Dove, the replacement after Dove died. I'm not drawing the female version, which I have no problem with her. It's just I like the brothers. The original run was what I got into and what I liked the most. So I wanted to pay homage to that a little bit. That's my favorite incarnation, so that's what we're going to do. Um, Not to mention the fact that it's just more dynamic and diverse to draw the brothers than it is to draw the Hawk and Dove team um, with the female Dove, in my opinion. Like I said, nothing against it. It's just I don't. It doesn't resonate with me, is what it is. And I don't know if it was just the time that it came in. It kind of chimed in as a change or whatever. But and I don't care either way. It's just I have a favorite, and that's why I'm doing this one. But it didn't resonate with me like this team did. I always like to draw these simulated wing ribbons that he has going on. I like to put them way over the top. They're not supposed to go over his head. They're supposed to be out towards his shoulder and, go that way. But I like to make them larger than life, like a couple of artists do, and jump them off the page just a little bit more for contrast to the suit than a lot of people do. So this is just my interpretation of the character. And I really, really dig these guys. I wish they would come back. I know they did them in the 52 with the new team, and that's fine. I'm cool with that, and I think Rob even came back on it for a little while. But I just prefer the original over it for some reason. Maybe it's the team. Like I said, maybe it's the team that I started out with, and it's just a nostalgia thing or whatever. But for some reason, I'm just more into that original run. And I have a lot of those comics in my collection, and I follow that series wholeheartedly with the classics. I don't know how many graphic novels and how many comics I've replaced. And I'm not into collecting comics as much anymore. It is more about getting the trade backstories. But in this case, this is one of those titles that I do collect as a monthly book from the older stuff, and I buy one every chance I get. I'm always hunting for them and filling in gaps in my collection, and this is one of those books that just inspired me to get into comics. So, and it could be, it could be I don't want to go all deep with it, but it could be the fact that my younger brother and I connected through a lot more of my understanding because of the fact that I was a little bit older and I took every lesson that I got from comics. I was one of those kids that just got a lot out of them, and I learned to relate with my younger brother just a little bit better because of that fact. I tried to respect him a little more. And I know that sounds cheesy and all that, but the thing is it's absolutely 100% true. So, when you're that young and you're influential and comics is what you have as the medium, there are a lot worse things to learn through osmosis than, an ethic, as it were. So, it's pretty cool. I was comparing a bunch of old comic book stuff today. I was sorting out as I was going through some pages and burning out a project that I had on the table, and I went through a box of storage pages from years ago. I found stuff that I did when I was 13. I was like, wow, that it was just insane what was in there, and I probably ran across 4, maybe 500 pages in the 5 or 6 boxes that I had, and I was just like, geez. If you're drawing every day like I am with these cards, remember this: if you're having trouble with developing your artwork and stuff, and even if you're a seasoned pro and you get stuck and you get dull with it, just remember this: if you're not drawing every single day, you're not an artist by definition. And no one can waver me from that. That is a hardcore fact. By definition, if you are not drawing, you are not an artist. If you are not creating, you are not a creator. I know a lot of people will frown on that, and they'll be like, well, hey, man, that's not very positive. That's not very secrety kind of thing. But it's absolutely true. If you're not turning and burning, man, I mean, I'm not going all Gary Vaynerchuk or anything like that, because I do a lot of marketing and I know the guy. So I know him in passing at least. And cool dude, but I'm not on the wagon of hey, you got to get out there and do this, blah 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 and whatnot. I mean, I do have a book that will help you get started on that I'm working on, thanks to my new publisher, for my stuff like that, my marketing stuff. But yeah, I'm not going on that soapbox today. It's the weekend, man. I'm keeping it light. But yeah, if you're not drawing every day and you're not producing, I hear it all the time. I'm told at least 4 or 5 times a day, hey, man, your stuff's cool. I wish I could produce like you. Well, why aren't you? I asked the question. I posed the question. Why aren't you drawing? Why aren't you producing? Why aren't you kicking it out? What's holding you back? Well, my kids, need to eat and whatnot, and I got to cook dinner or whatever. So do I. I'm the cook in my house, you know. I am absolutely the cook in my house. I love that. My kitchen is my domain. That's my peace, my peaceful space in the house. Next to my table, my office and my space. I'm cool with that. But the kitchen's my domain. Everybody knows that. It is mine. I am the cook in my house. I probably have, I don't know, 150 cookbooks, and I'm constantly collecting new recipes. I have a digital archive of them and start collecting new recipes every couple of days. I'm always trying new stuff. I'm a foodie. So, yeah, if you're not producing, you're not creating, then you're not an artist, you're not a creator, and you're not a producer. So, think about that when you're touching on the old artboard here, because that's where you're at. A lot of people will probably get ticked off at me for that, but that's okay. Hey, man, I'm an artist, but I've still got to work. Hey, if you're not working as an artist, then you're not a professional artist. I'm sorry. But if you're making money from it, then you are. That's the whole point of, by definition, being professional, is making money from that, making your living from that, and that's what I do. So I hold true to that, and um, I expect everybody else to do it. Now, I work in different fields, and don't get me wrong. If you're studying and you're a striving artist, starving artist, or thriving artist trying to get in, then go for it. And I'm all for that. But you got to do the work. You got to pay the dues. Now I know a lot of people aren't going to like the way I'm doing this mask right here because it's red, but I'm going to black these out just to make them pop off a little more. A lot of people are going to be like, "Hey man, that's supposed to be a red mask," but that's okay. That's okay. I put a little slash right there in the eyeball, and I want to make sure that that's not going to stay there because I don't want him to look like, I don't want him to start look like Matt Garvin, the Scorpion, because that's not what he is. But yeah, that's pretty much where it's at. If you're not drawing every day, that's the solution. That's the difference. So, let me see here. It's what I get for trying to drink off camera. I was reaching for my bottle here. Excuse me while I get that. throat's dry. I don't want to make weird noises. Now with this character here, I really have to be careful because this is a white and red suit, and I don't want it to get all weird. But let me see. How do I want to do that? I want to do it like this. I have these guidelines in here to set this 2 different directions, and I've decided to go this route. I'm going to put the thumb on the bottom. I'm going to have it like a punch ready to go. And draw in that knuckle. Now we have this one right back here. I'm going to draw in the rest of that glove so that it holds up. Now we have the under part of the forearm, which we wouldn't see quite that much, but this dude gets big. You know, it's like I was talking about Hawkman yesterday. Rob has had a hand in it, so this version is kind of thick. And like I said, I'm not knocking that by any means. I think it's great. I like big, strong heroes going on, and you know, I don't like them to look campy, and I don't like them to look like they're out of 1930, and either be bulky or super lean and gangly. That happens a lot. Now I'm actually going to raise this mask a little bit to make it look like it's a hard mask over and above what we have going on, because I want it to look a little ridged. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, hey man, that's supposed to be a flat mask, but yeah, I like it to be raised up a little bit so that it looks like it's facial protection, kind of like the Batman's cowl. Because this dude's not somebody to play around with. He doesn't take this crap lightly, and he's always a very hardcore character. I'm gonna thicken that up just a little bit. Put a little bit of a drop shadow on here. Wow, it's raised up. It looks like it's real. So, sorry, having a little fun hanging out on the weekend. Don't hold it against me. Let's see. Got to draw in these dreaded hawk feather symbolic spikes on the forearm there. Now, these are red. These are red. This face is red. This is red. This is red right here, and this is red down this way. So I'm not going to color this in or over render this too much. I'm going to put a little bit more on the mask right here to make that pop off. I'm going to put a little bit of a lip under the edge of that side so it shows up. And then I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to black this out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little drop shadow right here on the crest so that it holds up. Try not to shake everything too much because I've got the camera mounted back on the side of the desk. My camera mount is strapped back to the desk for a little bit because I was working on my custom camera arm here. All right, gonna drop in another one right here. Kind of make it look out a little bit for the lighting and whatnot. See the way that the way that goes across here. There's a strip of light, boom, right across here. It's just a highlight, and then when I color it, it'll be down here as well. So I'll put in just a little drop shadow down here at the bottom, so that that light can come down, and that'll be the end of it right there. It'll make these ribbons look a little more flexed, like they're coming off there. Okay. Oh, these are small enough I can black them out as well, and they're not going to hurt anything. I decided to go ahead and shade it in. I was going to highlight it underneath there, but I decided not to. I'm just going to go ahead and shade it all out. So we can get that done. Ta-da. Now I'll do this side real quick so you guys can see how that balances out. Okay. Right about here's where we want it. See, I leave that little bit of an edge on either side so that it highlights the ribbon, not blacking it out. Because on the surface, I mean, even if it touches just a little bit like that, it's still okay. I know a lot of people ask me about that all the time. And it's like, man, you know, you do some of the strangest highlights and stuff, and I want to know how to do it, and da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, that's how. It's wherever you think the light source is going to come from, and whatever feels right on that process, that's what you do. Now, like right here in the middle of the chest, I'm going to put in just a little bit to show that edge down in there. Now this is where I'm going to come in. Right under here, I'm going to leave that little dip, and then there we go. Right there. I'll put one up here too to show the shadow from the ribbons. Since they aren't getting all that light down here, that'll dim that down. And then over here, I'm going to do the same thing since it's down on the bottom. And see if that shape changes, it's fine. Just do it, knock it out. A little bit of a mark right here. Just giving it a little pop, a little depth. Not too much. Don't overkill it. Okay. Now that's a white section, so I'm going to be very careful about that detail, but I'm going to pop it up just a little bit because I want to separate the abs and the obliques. So we have that going on. And then, of course, because this is red, we can add a little detail in here. Shape it out where the side of that knuckle is so that I don't overwork it. Put that little black spot right there. Okay, done deal. And we are going to call it done. Oh man, don't. I just read a couple of the comments. Don't let me get you down in the dumps, man, Alfred. If you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Like I said, don't take it personal, or anything like that. Just do what you can. But the thing is, you know, anybody can go get a pack of $5 copy paper and, you know, work. I do that all the time. I have notebook after notebook. I have a 3-hole punch, and I call it my art Bible, and I carry it around with me all the time. I have a constant notebook backpack with pencils, pens, lead, marker, erasers, all that. And I mean, I keep it in the car with me. So, you know, if that's your thing, man, go get it done. If that's what you want to do, and you really want to keep with your artwork, get it done. And you know, you got a phone. You know, if you have a cell phone, you got it made. If you got a tablet, even better, because you can do that for yourself by going to like YouTube and checking out anything on how to draw comics, anything like that, and then checking out those techniques, or referencing from Google, checking out characters and whatnot, go to Google, check it out. It's your friend. Get references and draw characters your way. Draw comic book pages. They have references for comic book pages. You can look up your favorite comic book artist and, you know, guys that influence you, and check out their work and see what's going on and what they're drawing. And, you know, go to the wikis for comic book characters that you love. You know, search for those characters, type their name in there, they'll pop up, and you can start referencing how they look today and check out where the stories are and whatnot and the latest issues and stuff, and start working from there, man. You don't have to go buy a library of books. I do personally have a library of books, and I mean, I literally do. We're about to build the next, even though I'm moving, I'm about to put in yet another set of bookshelves into my library off of my office so that I can get that going on. I don't kid around. I've got a lot of books. I'm constantly buying books, going to the library, reading books, and collecting things so that I can get them done. You don't have to go that route. You can practice on your own. You know, just check stuff out online that influences you and start drawing. So many people say, well, I don't have this book and I don't have this skill and I don't have that. Google it. You know, that's your best bet right there. Google it. Start Googling things and start checking it out and start learning. How-to stuff, there's tons of that stuff out there. I'm putting out a series here pretty much the same thing in the next couple of weeks. And, you know, like I said, I'm not pitching or anything. It's just part of the subject. So, you know, it's out there. It's out there. You know, you see me draw these things every day. Pick one and make your own list and draw your own characters for the day. Draw one or two of these a day and see how you get. I guarantee you your art will improve the more you draw. Just by this card a day, this gives me great practice, which I don't normally get the opportunity to do because I'm so busy producing actual pages for work and then consulting people with meetings and things like that offline. So I have to be very cautious with my time. So think about that and see where you're at and go from there. But anyway, as it were, I hope you guys dig this thing. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Saturday. I know that's crazy. Spending your weekend with an artist, oh my gosh. But yeah, this is the first half. Tomorrow I'm gonna do Dove. It will be the brothers. When this is done, it will be the brothers, not, like I said, not the new team. So you guys rock. Thank you so much for checking this stuff out and putting up with my jibber jabber. I appreciate it. Thank you. Like it, share it, whatever you feel you want to do with it. Thank you very much. I'll catch you tomorrow. And I'll be back at regular time tomorrow, probably about between 4 and 5 Central Time, 5:30 at the latest. I'm going to try and do one a little bit earlier so that we can knock it out for Sunday, because I know people do the family thing and whatnot. And I'm going to try and hit it before church. So talk to you guys later. Thank you so much.